today we're going to show you how you can use your letters on your SQ9050. So recently I had a request from a subscriber named Kimberly, and she was asking about my SQ9050 brother sewing machine and how I can make letters with the machine. So today I'm going to show you how I do that. So come along with me and we'll learn how to make a little quilt label. So this is the machine that we're going to be working with today. So this is actually one of my favorite machines. I bought this in 2012 at Walmart, and it's really interesting, but this little machine came with a 25-year limited parts warranty. And the reason why is because of how well it was made. If you can actually locate any SQ9050s, they are not for sale anymore at Walmart, you are going to have one good machine. I just love this machine. I have never had any problems with it. I did buy the latest model that is out at Brother over at Walmart, and it is a lower quality machine, I'm sad to say. But this machine, the SQ9050, is like top of the line. So I would go on a search for it and try and find a used one, because a lot of those used sewing machines, they were purchased and just stuck in a closet and no one ever used them. So go for a search and get a top quality machine. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and make a label for a quilt that I made recently. So I cut a piece of fabric 5 inches by 6 inches. You can cut your fabric whatever size you want. So if you've used an embroidery machine before, you know that it's already set up and it will embroider the design wherever you set it on your screen. With this machine, it is different. You're the one that has to find the placement. So what I'm going to do, and you're going to have to practice. You really do have to practice with the placement. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my fabric in half and find out where the center is. So I'm going to go ahead and use a Wash Away Markers by Janlin, and I'm going to go ahead and draw some lines. So I think I'm going to do it above the, I'm going to use the 1/2 inch line right here. So I find it easier to move my line so if I put my line right on this line, it makes it easier to line it up. Make sure I've got it straight, and then I can set my black line on the ruler line. There. Now I have some pretty straight lines. Now we'll head to our sewing machine. So we're going to click on our alphabet, and then we're going to go over to here. So here you see the alphabet, and then you see little numbers above each one. This is going to be kind of like one of those spy games. We're going to go ahead and write out whatever you want to say on a piece of paper, and then it might be easier to write down the numbers next to it so that it'll be easier to put it in. So I went ahead and just got a scrap piece of paper and decided what I wanted to write down. Made by Grandma Cross, 2025. It's always good to put the year down so when people are looking back, you can see when it was made. Okay, so now that I have that down, I'm going to go ahead and play that little game, right? So, for example, the M is 13, A is 1, D is 4, etc., etc. Okay, I have it all done now, and now for programming my sewing machine. Okay, so we have 2 different sections. We have this button for this number, and we have this button for this number. And then over here, we have delete and add. Okay, this is for checking it, for going through and checking to the left and to the right. Let's look again at my paper. So my first one is 13. So now you see why I wanted to put in all these. So we got 1 and 3 and then add. Okay, so that's our first letter. So now we're going to go and do the next one, which is 0 and 1, and then we're going to add it. You can see up here, now I have 2 letters, okay? The next one is D, which is 0, 3. Okay, and the next one is E, which is 0, 5. Okay, now I have a space, so I'm going to do the number 30. And add it. And then by is 0, 2 for the B. And then Y is 25. So now it's showing that I have 7 letters. So I'm just going to do that much right now because I'm going to do that for this first line. Okay? So now it says to check it. So let's go ahead. It's letting me go all the way back. Okay. So I'm going to check all the numbers again before I go. So I have 13. I'm looking at my, you can check with me. So the screen says 13, 0, 1, 0, 3. Uh-oh. I made a mistake, didn't I? It's supposed to be 0, 4. So this is why you go back and check it. It looks like I'm going to have to start over. Okay, I put it in again. I'm going to check it again. So I have 13. I said 0, 1, 0, 4. 0, 5, 30, 0, 2, and 25. Okay, I got it right this time. Yay! So I have 2 different pieces of fabric cut and ready to go. I'm going to guide my foot right along the line that I drew. And this is my practice one to see how it's actually going to embroider it out. So, because my whole goal is to center it. So I'm starting at the very edge of my fabric to see how far apart it's going to be. So on this particular machine, I disconnect my, my foot for sewing. So I don't have anything down below. Okay, so it's not connected at all. There is a button right here that I'm just going to push and let it go. My goal, my job is just to keep it straight on this blue line. Like I said, this is my practice one to see how it's going to go. See if I need to change my tension or anything. Right now my tension is pretty tight. I'm going to turn it to 3.5. Let's see what it did. Like I said, this is a practice. So what I'm finding over here, because I'm doing it freestanding, I have this back behind, and it seemed like the thread was getting caught on it. So I am going to readjust this a little bit. I cut off the crooked part. I want to start fresh again. Okay, so let's do the next section. So what we're seeing also is all of them are capital letters. There's no lowercase letters. Okay, that looks much better. Much better. Okay, so it does, I mean, you could practice with your tension and stuff to see how it's going to actually turn out. It's still a little bit tight, so you could loosen. If you know how to loosen your lower bobbin, or let me put down my upper bobbin, my upper tension, excuse me, to 3. It was at 3.5. So I've changed that to 3. Um, anyway, so it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and try it on my actual fabric. I do have more fabric that I can do it again if I need to. I'm gonna come in a ways because I want to actually have a space so that I can fold it in under so when I'm sewing it on. So I'm gonna leave space. Okay, here goes nothing. Okay, so what we're noticing is it'll stop after each word. So we can see that we've got the word made done. Okay, now I'm gonna go push start again on my sewing machine. Okay, and it stopped all by itself. Okay, so we've got that done. Now I'm gonna go back and I'm going to put the needle up and go ahead and cut the string. So I'm gonna delete every single one of these. Delete, delete, delete. Okay, so now I have to take out my little code sheet again. I have to put in the next line. So there's my code. So here we go. So I've got 0, 7, add, and then we've got 1, 8 for R, and then 0, 1 for A, 1. I don't know if you saw right there at the end, I have 2 S's, so I just pushed add, then add. And that put 2 S's on. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna go ahead and line the foot up right. So Grandma Cross, it's a little bit longer than Made By. Okay, I just noticed something. Did you notice this? Do you see what it did? It did it twice. So, okay, this is going to be interesting. So I need to see if it's going to, if it has the other Made By on it. Oh, it's doing the G. Yay! I'm so excited. Okay, so here we have it. We've got Made by Grandma Cross. So if I was actually going to be using this, I would definitely be doing this again. I think what I did is I thought it stopped between the made and the by, but actually it was done embroidering. And then I pushed start again and it did Made By again. Because with the Grandma Cross, it just left a piece of thread between the two and it kept going. So anyway, like I said, it's a lot of experimenting with your machine. And so basically this is how you do your letters on your Embroider machine. It's pretty simple and you can make a nice little label, or if you want to do something else. I like the letters. I think it would help also with crinkling if you actually use stabilizer on the back. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time and try it with stabilizer. I have stabilizer because I have an embroider machine, so I would actually use cutaway stabilizer for this. I think you could, I guess if it's for a quilt, I guess you could use a cutaway. So either way, try one of them. So this is the stabilizer that I have. It's kind of a thicker one. It's really, really soft. I just thought it would be a really good foundational one. So I decided to just go ahead and pin it on. So because I didn't want to lose out on the letters I already have stored in it, I'm just going to go ahead. I have the first line, second, and third for my message that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do the second one first. So I did my lines kind of close together. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my foot is, the line is going to be on the inside of the foot, because this is also the edge of where it's going to embroider. And so I'm using the inside of my foot as my guideline now. So this is what you learn when you are doing a practice one. You can actually see how it works. Okay, so this is the test. We're going to pull it out and see if it looks better. Oh, much, much better. So that stabilizer makes all the difference. Look how nice that looks. It's not all bunched up like it was. So, okay. Well, great. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to do the made by again, and then I'm going to do the 2005 right in the center. The thing I like about practicing is I can take this one and I can actually move it back and forth, and I can see like where would it look best. Okay, so if I begin right above around the N and the D, that'll look about centered. We could actually, with letters, you can count them all and divide them. Okay, counting the space, there's 13. So right in the middle is 6, and then go back 3. So if I start on the third, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, if I start around 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, so I know now where I can start and have it look centered. So here's my completed label. So you see all the little strings going from one letter to the next. So now what you can do is go ahead and just clip those so that they look like individual letters. So I have these little scissors that are really nice to use when you're clipping little strings. See, because then they can just slide through. They're embroidery scissors. I used embroidery thread. It's polyester thread. But if you only have cotton, I'm sure that'll be fine too. So our marker said that it was a wash away. So we're going to see if just spraying on it will make it go away. Ah, look at that. Okay, so now you can take your iron and iron it so it's flat. And I'm actually going to iron in the edges. So one thing I'm going to do too is I'm going to go to my cutting board and I'm going to actually center it. I'm going to cut off part of it. So I'm taking a paper towel and I'm just spreading it and I'm soaking up some of that water so it'll dry faster. I went ahead and folded under all the edges and ironed it. So now I am all ready to sew it on. Thank you for coming along with me today and learning how to use your letters. If you make anything with your brother machine or any machine you have that has letters, please comment below and share with us what it is that you are making. Are you making a poem? Are you making a label? What is it that you made with your letters on your brother's sewing machine?